Chair, sa hinaba-haba po ng sinabi ni Secretary, lumalabas pa rin po na sa 2027 NEP natin, nandyan pa rin po yung mga budget cuts at wag niyo po kaming dadaanin doon sa press release natin na dapat ang budget makatao. Sabog-sabog po kasi ang implementation ng gobyerno. Would you agree with me, Secretary? Madam Chair, magandang nabuksan po yan ni Secretary Balisacan. Dahil po kahit yung pangako na better jobs, more jobs, quality jobs, hindi rin po totoo yan. So lumalabas po, Madam Chair, hindi totoo yung pangako ng administrasyon sa pag-provide ng jobs.
Kaya nga po, we would like to share to the committee rin po na sa tulong po ng GAA ng 2026 na naipasa. In fact, we have already released yun pong SARO para po masettle na natin yung free higher education arrears na naipon natin for the last 3 academic years. We would like to report to Congress na nai-release na po namin ang SARO nito sa Commission on Higher Education. Kaya po makakaasa po yung ating mga state universities and colleges na matatanggap na po nila ito mula sa CHED. Hindi lamang po ito galing sa GAA dahil bahagi po nung nirelease natin na halos 10 billion pesos na pambayad ng arrears natin sa FHE ay nanggaling po doon sa special account na Higher Education Trust Fund. So ito po ay on top of what was allocated into the GAA. At dahil po tayo ay masasabi nating nagbayad ng utang no, na 3 taon po sa ating mga state universities and colleges, ito po ay karagdagan na kanila pong magagamit. Hindi lang po hanggang December, kundi magpapatuloy po ito hanggang 2027 para po matustusan yung kanilang mga pangangailangan sa operation ng mga state universities and colleges, makapagdagdag ng additional na infrastructure, academic buildings, laboratories, and equipment. So ito pong 10 billion na atin pong inauthorize na ma-release as of last week ay inaasahan po natin na maida-download ng CHED sa ating 108 state universities and colleges starting probably this week dahil nasa kanila na po yung authority to spend for this. Madam Chair, Your Honor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sa hinaba-haba po ng sinabi ni Secretary, lumalabas pa rin po na sa 2027 NEP natin, nandyan pa rin po yung mga budget cuts at wag niyo po kaming dadaanin doon sa press release natin na dapat ang budget makatao dahil malinaw po na hindi yan nire-reflect doon sa NEP natin. Susunod ko po na katanungan, Madam Chair, nakapatungkol po sa DepDev. Ulit-ulit po na sinasabi at pangako ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, magaganda nga po yung adjective na ginagamit nyo eh. More jobs, quality jobs, better jobs. Madam Chair, magandang nabuksan po yan ni Secretary Balisacan. Dahil po kahit yung pangako na better jobs, more jobs, quality jobs, hindi rin po totoo yan sa kasalukuyang sitwasyon. Sa PDP po, the government planned to generate 336 to 396,000 jobs in manufacturing jobs in 2025 alone. Pero po, Madam Chair, lumalabas mismo sa report, manufacturing employment, minus 177,000. Industry employment, minus 226,000. Tapos yung services, nakita po natin, merong uptick by 413,000. So lumalabas po, Madam Chair, hindi totoo yung pangako ng administrasyon sa pag-provide ng jobs. Kasi dapat nating itanong, hindi lang dapat lumilikha ng trabaho, kundi anong klaseng trabaho ang nililikha. At lumalabas po ngayon, Madam Chair, dun sa mga datos na nakikita natin, walang quality jobs na nakikreate. Mostly retail trade at elementary low-paying jobs. Tama po ba to, Secretary Balisacan? Pwede niyo po bang banggitin sa amin ano yung mga retail jobs, retail trade jobs at mga low-paying elementary jobs?
Doon sa statistics natin na pinocompile natin, we make a distinction between mga wage and salary workers and other types of workers, lalo na yung mga what you call informal and the retail and the trade sinasabi natin. Yung wage and salary workers kasi na classification ng or type of workers. Ito usually what we consider better quality jobs kasi dito these are usually in the organized sectors jobs at 8 to 5 o mga more regular, more permanent. Hindi yung mga types of jobs that are available only for 3 hours or 4 hours a day or ano. So, and if you look at that data in the last 5 to 10 years, nag-i-improve yan yung quality ng workers na yan. in terms of the proportion of those type of workers in the total workforce. We can provide you the data to support that. Ito namang mga sales and trade na sinasabi natin, these are usually the clerks, the service workers, and ito, as alam natin, mga kung minsan, mga clerks, mga half a day lang nag-work yan, or mga service workers, yun ang kinakapture ng data natin na underemployed. But even there, if you look at the data ng underemployment natin, kasi na pinakita ko kaninang umaga, in the last 15 years, or even if you focus on the last 5 years, nag-i-improve yan. Ang exception nga lang, itong last 2 quarters and 3 quarters nga na. As you rightly pointed out, tumaas. But I said, if we are able to succeed in recovering from the sharp slowdown and get the economy growing fast again, we should be able to recover those losses. And that's the thrust of the entire proposed budget, to recover us faster from the sharp slowdown.
Madam Chair, maganda po na nabanggit ni Secretary Balisacan yung percentage of wage and salaried workers in private establishments to total employed workers increased. Meron din pong bangga agad doon sa targets and accomplishments. So una, yung target, unambitious na nga. Yung actual pa, stagnant. So for 2025, ang target 51.4 to 52.4. The actual is 50. So ang ibig sabihin lang naman nito, Madam Chair, itong datos na lumalabas, hindi talaga lumilikha ng mga trabaho na dekalidad, may maayos na sahod, merong security of tenure, yung gobyerno natin. Marami po sa mga trabaho na yan ay retail trade at elementary low-paying jobs. Yun po yung pinatutungkulan natin. Ngayon, maganda po na binabanggit ni Secretary Balisacan, merong mga proposed na mga reforma para lumikha talaga tayo ng mga trabaho. At doon po patungo yung questioning natin, Madam Chair. Ano ba yung focus relative to the 2027 budget? Ano ba ang focus ng gobyerno para lumikha ng mga industriya, para gumawa ng mga trabaho na dekalidad, hindi low-paying, hindi elementary, kundi mga high-value na mga trabaho? Kasi hindi naman po natin, Madam Chair, po pwedeng laging sabihin, merong trabaho, trabaho, trabaho. Ang punto natin dito, hindi lang sapat na merong trabaho, kundi ang trabaho ay dapat nagbabayad ng maayos sa ating mga manggagawa at talagang nakakapag-ambag sa development ng mga industriya natin. So, last clarification, Madam Chair, kay Secretary Balisacan.
Yes, thank you very much. That will be the last question for Kong San Fernando. Sec RC, please.
Thank you, Mr.
reply.
Chair. That's where we completely agree with you, Your Honor, that what we need for this country to move forward is the generation of quality jobs, better quality jobs. And precisely what we are doing, focusing for the last years of this administration is on faster execution of programs and projects, particularly on those programs and projects that are so critical to the generation of jobs. Una na doon is yung quality of infrastructure, particularly sa energy, for example. If the cost of energy, Your Honor, is high, there's no way that you could generate a lot of jobs, a high quality of jobs, because your manufacturing would not be able to generate good enough employment, and especially for exports. No? So we need to address the what we call the critical constraints to investment and growth. Infrastructure, number one, ease of doing business, number two, then what you call this, the loss of confidence and trust in our institutions, and that's what we are trying to recover from. Kaya yung budget is precisely framed to speed up our recovery, and that's what we should. And recovery means that business and consumer confidence will also improve. Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, mabilis na
Thank you very much.
Mabilis na mabilis
Pwede
na
po sa next round kasi marami po
Yes po,
naghihintay.
magpapalista po ako sa second round. Mabilis lang to, Mr. Chair.
Lang, it would be unfair to our colleagues.
Kanina, Mr. Chair, may nag-extend. Mabilis lang
Oo
po,
nga,
Mr. Chair.
nakalisod si Kong Tonchi.
Okay lang po.
So,
Ang pupuntuhin ko lang naman po, Mr. Chair, maganda po na admission from the DepDev yun. na ang rason kung bakit mababa ang investors' confidence dito sa bansa natin, mataas ang utilities, at grabe laganap ang korupsyon. So maganda po yun. So yun lang naman po, Mr. Chair, ang gusto kong i-point at magpapalista po ako for second.
Okay.
Isa rin po sa example dito sa mga factors kung bakit hindi pumapasok yung hindi tayo nakakapagbuo ng industriya, itong fragmented coordination. Di pa po ako buhay, ganito ng problema ng gobyerno eh. Sabog-sabog po kasi ang implementation ng gobyerno. Would you agree with me, Secretary?
Hindi naman lahat ng mga projects and programs are ganon. But I think for some projects like those by the DPWH, for example, of course, we have seen the consequences of lack of coordination, for example, between the national government and local government. Kanina pinag-usapan natin yung right of way, that's one of those. So, yun ang mga dapat maayos
Yes.
for efficient
Yes, Secretary.
implementation.
Opo. At least may admission on that part of the government po na talagang merong mga plano tayo pero walang group chat yung mga ahensya ng gobyerno kaya pagdating sa implementation, kandalabo-labo na. Kaya ko po natanong itong mga constraints na to. Gusto ko lang po kayo i-quote kanina about industrial policy. We don't have to push in industrial policy the way our neighbors did it. Ito po yung sabi nyo kanina. Pero ginagamit po natin madalas na benchmark yung mga kapitbahay natin na nag-implement ng industrial policy such as Vietnam, South Korea, Taiwan, even China. Alam niyo po, itong mga binabanggit dito, yung pinapresent niyo po ng mga persistent constraints, present po lahat to doon sa mga bansa gaya ng South Korea, Taiwan, China, Vietnam. Present po lahat yan. In fact, South Korea was very corrupt. One-party state. Yung ibang bansa pa nga dito, one-party state. Very corrupt. Pero hindi naging hadlang itong mga same problems that we are facing and experiencing for them to implement industrial policy. Yan pong mga problemang yan, nalagpasan ng mga kapitbahay natin. Alam niyo po, the only difference between us and them, sila po may ambisyon eh. Sila po may ambisyon. They want to build and strengthen their industrial base. Tapos ang maririnig po natin sa DepDev, we don't have to push industrial policy like our neighbors. So yun po ang kaibahan. If I may encapsulate this, Mr. Chair, sa kung papaano natin tinitignan tong industrial policy, sa ating economic managers po, tayo, walang ambisyon, unambitious po tayo eh. Pagdating sa industrial policy, duwag po tayo, Secretary, pagdating po sa industrial policy. Kasi these countries, our neighbors, South Korea, Vietnam, lagi nating ginagamit na benchmark eh. And coming from you, parang opposed po kayo sa industrial policy. Now, how are we going to make use of the remaining 2 years of the PBBM administration? No other than the President has already said that. Sabi niya, kailangan gamitin natin ang natitirang panahon para lumikha ng mga trabaho, dekalidad na trabaho, better paying jobs. So how are we going to do that? Or how are we going to make use of the 2 years remaining in PBBM administration para maging ganap ito pong mga pinag-uusapan natin about quality jobs? Mr. Chair.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, with due respect to our honorable congressman, I disagree that we don't have an ambition for this country. DepDev, the former NEDA, crafted the ambition natin 2040, which would have allowed us to reach a high-income country within by 2040 if things are not interrupted as they did. And we were able to do quite well. And we did quite well in the last 15 years. As I presented earlier this morning, with just doing a lot of the things that we should have been doing over the last 50 years. So my argument, Mr. Chair, is that not even industrial policy would work if you can't address the kind of issues, structural issues that we have. Fix the energy problem, high energy problem. No amount of industrial policy would give you high level of development without fixing that. Fix your roads and connectivity, your internet that does not connect lagging areas and leading areas. Those are the kind of things that I was referring to, Mr. Chair. And I completely agree with industrial policy. I do think it works, but we need to do the basic things that other countries have done.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a question of either or kasi, Secretary. Pero I think we can do that. We can do industrial policy, but at the same time, address din itong mga problema natin. Ang hirap lang na maririnig coming from the Secretary of DepDev na we don't have to do industrial policy like what our neighbors did. So very defeatist po yan, Secretary. And sa point, Mr. Chair, ni Secretary, is that meron namang nagawa in the recent years. Secretary, kitang-kita man po sa datos, we have de-industrialized, nauubos yung manufacturing jobs natin, nauubos yung industry jobs natin. We don't have any industry for that matter. Lahat nandun sa serbisyo. Kaya nga ang trabaho na meron sa atin, retail trade, low-paying elementary jobs. Kaya po pinupush natin tong industrial policy na mapag-usapan at maipush natin sa remaining 2 years of PBBM administration. Kasi po ang naririnig natin, Mr. Chair, sa mga economic managers natin is the same old. 30 years. 3 dekada na natin paulit-ulit ginagawa yung palpak na development model natin, Mr. Chair. I'm winding up, Mr. Chair. Even
Time's
the
up.
World Bank has already admitted that the neoliberal economic framework has failed. And yet we are doing the same. So yun po ang punto ko dito, Mr. Chair, Secretary. Maybe it is high time to push for meaningful reforms. Maybe it is high time for us to discuss and really take industrial policy very seriously. So, yun po, Mr. Chair. Maraming salamat.